Today's spoiler video is brought to you by Card Kingdom. Use the link below to pre-order your cards today. Hello everyone, it's Seth, probably better known as Saffron Olive, and it's time for another daily dose of Ikoria spoilers. So, Core Set 2020 spoilers, finally out of the way. Although Wizards, I don't know what you're doing. After we did our last Commander 2020 video, they released, just with the full deck list drop, the literal best card in the entire set, I think, in Fierce Guardianship. So I don't know what's up with that. Check it out if you're interested at mtgpreviews.com. But we're moving back to the world of Ikoria, the world of Standard and Modern, and all those formats. So let's jump into it, talk about some super sweet new Ikoria cards, starting with Lava Brink Adventure. So Lava Brink Adventure, 3 mana, 3/3, already reasonable stats to start off with. When it enters the battlefield, choose odd or even, and Lava Brink Adventure has protection from convert a mana cost of the chosen value. So Lava Brink Adventure, it's basically what Haktos wanted to be. Haktos, of course, gets protection from most things, but it's random. That's the biggest problem. Also, the mana cost is ridiculous. Double red, double white. Lava Brink Adventure is like Haktos, except it doesn't quite get as much protection, but you get to control what it's protected from, and it's only 3 mana and doesn't require double red, double white, all that stuff. So I think Lava Brink Adventure is actually a potentially very strong creature. If you think about what this is, it's basically half of a True-Name Nemesis. True-Name Nemesis gets protection from your opponent, which is all their stuff, all their converted mana costs. Lava Brink Adventure is getting protection from half of your opponent's stuff at a minimum, but it can be even better than that, and it's legal in Standard, which is a big deal. Standard is half as powerful as Legacy, where True-Name Nemesis is running around, so half of a True-Name Nemesis seems like it should still be pretty good in Standard. It's even better when you consider the actual metagame. If you think about the most played cards in our current Standard format, and this will probably change with Ikoria, but right now, if you look at the most played creatures, of the top 5 in Standard, we have Uro, we have Mayhem Devil, we have Bone Crusher Giant, not pictured, Cauldron Familiar. That is 4 odds. And then if you look at removal, it's kind of the same. Teferi Time Raveler, Claim the Firstborn, Deafening Clarion are among the 10 most played spells in the format. So it seems like playing Lava Brink Adventure, setting it on odds, is going to be really good in a lot of matchups. You're kind of just absolutely shutting down some decks in a really powerful way, dodging removal, blocking creatures forever, being able to attack when you want to. Of course, there might be times when you want to pick evens, but I think this card's actually really good. The fact that, unlike Haktos, you get to choose what it's protected from really flips the paradigm on its head. It's so much better with you having that element of control, being able to make the choice based on the current board state. Maybe you just want to block one specific creature. Maybe you don't want to get it bounced by Teferi. Maybe you're worried about it getting killed by, I don't know, some 4-mana removal spell. You can make the best choice for the situation, which I think makes Lava Brink Adventure very powerful. That's not even including humans being a theme of Ikoria, and this potentially being part of a human deck. So very sweet 3-drop and potentially powerful 3-drop coming soon to Standard. We also got, oh my goodness, one of my favorite cards from the entire set, Evasion Protocol. So Evasion Protocol, 2-mana enchantment. When you cycle a card, you can pay 1 mana. If you do, exile target artifact or creature you control, then return it to the battlefield under its owner's control. So this is a slight twist on a couple of the most powerful cycling payoffs in the literal history of Magic. Astral Slide, Astral Drift. Astral Slide was tier 1 awesome deck back in its day in Standard. Astral Drift was actually somewhat like playable in Modern. Not really, but we've played it. It's close to being Modern playable. Evasion Protocol is very similar to these cards, allowing you to flicker a creature when it comes into play. More importantly, Evasion Protocol, it actually has some upsides over Astral Slide and Astral Drift, which is Astral Slide, Astral Drift. When you flicker the creature, it's coming back end of turn. Evasion Protocol just blinks it right away. It leaves, it comes back into play, which opens up all kinds of potential that Astral Slide and Astral Drift didn't have. Also, you do got to pay a mana, but I don't think that's a deal breaker. You even get a discount on the casting cost of Evasion Protocol. So I'm actually really excited for what this card can do in Standard. If we look at old Astral Slide decks, the normal combo is something like Eternal Witness. So you can Eternal Witness, get back the cycling card, then you cycle that card, blink Eternal Witness to get back the cycling card. So that's one of the ways to take advantage of it. Throw in another payoff of some kind as you're going along. Plus, remember, you're cycling, so you're drawing extra cards as you go through this process, generating tons of card advantage so you can eventually overwhelm your opponent and win the game. Evasion Protocol can kind of do that. The problem is, we don't have an actual Eternal Witness in Standard. We have Scholar of Ages for instants and sorceries, but that's 7 mana. We got Golgari Finebroker, which is only 4 mana, but it is restricted to permanents, so you'd have to be cycling like creatures, let's say, artifacts, enchantments. So Evasion Protocol, I don't know if you can do the same shenanigans that you used to do in Astral Drift decks. It might take a little bit different style of deck building for Standard. The good news is, Evasion Protocol works really well with cards like Thassa, with Yarok, giving you another way to reuse the enter the battlefield trigger of your creatures, and we've already seen like Blue-White Thassa become a real deck in Standard. Yarok at various points in its existence has been a real deck in Standard. Evasion Protocol in a cycling version of the shell seems like a very good addition to Thassa and to Yarok, and we have a ton of creatures with good enter the battlefield triggers to actually cycle. We have Omnaths and Cavaliers and Niv Mizzets, which can generate tons and tons of card advantage, and it doesn't take that much cycling and that many reusing of enter the battlefield triggers to be able to win the game with the value that it generates. The other sneaky part about this is its interaction with Mutate. So Mutate is a mechanic that I think everyone's still trying to figure out how good it is. The downside of mutating and putting a bunch of creatures on top of each other is you are making those creatures susceptible to 1 removals. But let's say you put Aluna, Vadrock, Trumpeting Gnar, they're all stacked on top of each other. Your opponent can cast a single removal spell and kill all of them. All of your really powerful, sweet mutating stuff. However, we learned that by the rules of Mutate, if you blink a Mutate creature, what's going to happen is all the creatures in the Mutate pile go to exile, and then they all come back into play. They're not going to be mutated, they're going to be separated, but still you save all of your creatures, which I think means cards like Evasion Protocol suddenly go way up in value in our current mutating Standard, because being able to protect yourself from a 1-for-1, which is one of the uses of cards like Astral Slide. Your opponent goes to removal spell your creature, you cycle, you blink it, it doesn't die, hooray. Being able to do that is fine, but being able to save 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 20 creatures that are mutated together with a single cycling and Evasion Protocol is actually super exciting and super important. So I'm really high in Evasion Protocol. I think that this is probably going to be one of the cards that we play most in Standard. I love Astral Slide, and even though this is different than Astral Slide, I wouldn't even say it's strictly worse. Yes, having to pay a mana every time is a downside, but having the creature come back into play right away, that's a huge upside. Costing 1 less mana, that's a huge upside. Plus, lining up well with Mutate in some of the cards, enter the battlefield triggers, Thassas, all that stuff we were talking about, Yaroks, in our current format makes me really high and really excited to build around Evasion Protocol in Ikoria Standard. We also got Sea Dasher Octopus. So Sea Dasher Octopus, 3 mana, 2/2. Octopus. It has Mutate of 2, it has Flash, and when this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. So Sea Dasher Octopus, it's basically kind of an Ophidian, more or less a Scroll Thief, Shadow Mage Infiltrator. It's a creature that when you play it and hit your opponent with it, you get to draw a card. That's already nice. However, thanks to Mutate, Sea Dasher Octopus actually has some additional upsides. It kind of plays like a Curious Obsession. Curious Obsession, you put it on a creature. When that creature deals combat damage, you draw a card. Sea Dasher Octopus can kind of do that same thing. Thanks to Flash and the Mutate cost of 2, it's essentially like a Curious Obsession that costs 1 more mana. You can attack with a creature, flash this in Mutate style on that creature once it's unblocked, and you know you're at least drawing 1 card out of it. So there's a bunch of different ways to play this card, and I think the Mutate cost and the Flash ability make this way more powerful than past versions, the actual Ophidians that we were talking about. So the first thing that came to mind is some sort of like flying tribal deck. You can play Healer's Hawks, Empyrean Eagle, Spectral Sailor. Yes, Seaborn Dasher does not have flying itself, but you can stick it on a flyer, keep getting in hits with it like you would with Curious Obsession in decks past, and snowball that card advantage into more threats, into counter spells, and win the game. Speaking of counter spells, the other place that this fits really well is the Flash stacks. We already have like Simic Flash, there's been some Dimir, Sultai, Mono Blue, there's a bunch of different flavors kind of floating beneath the surface of Standard. Sea Dasher Octopus seems perfect for those. You already want to be leaving your mana up, so this gives you another flash threat. You can put it on a creature if you just need to draw a card, which is nice. So I feel like this does kind of everything a flash deck wants to do. If there's a downside, it's that it's just a 2/2. However, this is a card that can snowball really hard. So if this is your threat that you flash in on an empty board, and you can start hitting your opponent, drawing an extra card each turn, and then just countering all their spells by leaving up your mana with Frilled Mystics and Brideboard Cutthroats and such, it is going to be very powerful in that shell. So I think that Sea Dasher Octopus, as a split card of kind of Curious Obsession / Ophidian, actually has a decent chance to make some waves in Standard. We also got Cunning Nightbonder, which is kind of interesting. So 2 mana, Dimir Hybrid mana, you get a 2/2 with Flash, and makes it so spells you cast with Flash cost 1 less and can't be countered. So we were just talking about the Flash deck. This seems insane in the Flash deck. Not only does this give you a way to fight through your opponent's disruption, they can't counter your spells, which means you're going to win your counter wars with Frilled Mystics, with Voracious Great Sharks. It also gives you a discount on your spells, and it's not even legendary, so you can stack these up, and being able to go like turn 2 Flash and Cunning Nightbonder, untap, leave up your counter spell, go to your opponent's turn, end of turn 3 Flash and Nightpack Ambusher or something, seems incredibly powerful in a Flash style. So this does basically everything you want in Flash, and if you want to go full on meme mode, you can also play this with Leyline of Anticipation, and since all your stuff will have Flash, you can get a discount on literally everything and make all your spells uncounterable. So we'll have to see if it's worth the effort and the downside of having a Leyline that kind of does nothing immediately in your deck, but it does seem hilarious to just give all of your spells -1 mana and uncounterable on this 2 mana Cunning Nightbonder with the help of Leyline of Anticipation. Next on our list, we got Frontline Felid, a pretty interesting Selesnya cat beast. So 4 mana 3/5 with Vigilance, and it gives creatures you control with Vigilance 1 tap target creature. So this might look a little bit weird. Why would you want creatures that are vigilant and also tap to do something? Well, the trick with Frontline Felid is you can build a board full of Vigilance creatures, attack with all your Vigilance creatures, after declaring your creatures as attackers, then you can pay 1, tap them all to tap down the blockers, Alpha Strike your opponent. So that is the main idea of this card. What do you play to support it, though? And here, we actually have a few different options. Ajani Greathearted, probably the best of the bunch, just a Planeswalker that pumps your creatures, gains your life, and gives all your creatures Vigilance. So with this, it should be pretty easy to, like, Ajani, tick down, put a counter on everything, attack, tap down blockers, get in that lethal strike. Sarah Guardian, probably not good, but technically exists. Unbreakable Formation can also get the job done. You could also just play creatures that naturally have Vigilance. We got a decent amount, not a ton of super push ones outside of Questing Beast, but Huatli's Raptor, close to being playable, could work well with the Johnny plan. Linden, so maybe we'll see some sort of Selesnya aggro deck where Frontline Felid can be a major part of it. I don't know. It might end up going unplayed, but the card can be very powerful in the right situation. Worst case, I expect this to be almost bomb level in limited. This is probably going to be one of your best limited pickups, especially if you can get a few other Vigilance cards in your deck. Because remember, we're in a set where Mutate's a big thing. And how do you deal with someone that's mutating, making this huge stack of creatures? Well, one easy way to do it is just keep that creature tapped down, and Frontline Felid is going to be perfect for that job. Otherwise, we get a bunch of lower rarity stuff. Not going to go super in-depth over all of it. Swallowing Bite, kind of an interesting removal spell. There's a lot of conditions to be met. You need an untapped creature, and you can only deal with a tapped creature, but still, 1 mana exiling something is worth noting. Thwart the Enemy, the new Super Fog, only preventing your opponent's damage, maybe giving you a blowout. Savvy Thundermane, kind of fun in a cycling deck, although 2 mana is a lot, even for a repeatable mini shock style lightning helix. We also got some more mutate stuff, which is kind of fun. Cathartic Reunion returning to Standard is actually a big deal. That's a really powerful card, and I'm sure there will be decks that want it. Forbidden Friendship, kind of a cute way to make a token that's a dinosaur and a human, showing off the tokens of the set. Anyway, I think that brings us to the end of our daily Ikoria spoilers for today. So what do you think about all these new cards? How broken is Lava Brink Adventure, our new half True-Name Nemesis? What about Evasion Protocol? What can we do with a pseudo Astral Slide in Standard? There's gotta be some really fun, awesome things we could do with that. Octopus, our new Curious Obsession / Ophidian hybrid. Is that card gonna see some play in Standard? What about Cunning Nightbonder, making your flash stuff uncounterable and cheaper, like this really weird blue-black Dimir Ram spell? Frontline Felid, can that actually see play in Standard, or is it just a limited bomb? All the lower rarity stuff, Cathartic Reunion, the removal, the fog. Let me know in the comments. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, help us out by clicking that like button down below. And to keep up on all the latest and greatest, click that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that bell icon to get alerts whenever we have new videos. And if you want to, check out some of our other sweet videos here and here.